Groove City.
Hey, what's up? I'm Lefty.
And I'm Rich Furniss, and welcome to Groove City.
That's right. Today we have a very exciting guest, a longtime friend of mine from right here in New York City. Please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, Alex English.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Very excited to have you here, man. How you been?
Pretty good. I mean, I think New York's been keeping me busy the last couple of months, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Getting back into the swing of things, right? I mean, you've done so much over your time here in New York City, from promoting, DJing, managing. You've thrown some incredible parties, booked some of the biggest acts around the world.
Right.
A lot to talk about today.
Okay.
But,
So for people who don't know, you want to explain a little bit about what you do?
Well, currently I'm an artist manager. My company is called Seahorse Management. I represent Quarter, who,
Having a really big year. Last 2 years, incredible.
Yeah, she opened for Fred again last year. She just got announced for the Odessa tour. I pivoted away from doing events. I was a talent buyer and resident DJ for Webster Hall from 2008 to 2017.
Legendary, and probably at least my favorite party in New York City for a long time. Many memorable, unforgettable nights in that building.
And many can't remember nights.
Yeah.
Maybe half and half.
Definitely had a lot of those. I used to stroll up to that party sometimes at like 3:30 in the morning, be like, what's going on at Web Hall tonight?
Well, it's funny. It's like back then, you could text me and you could be at the door. It's like, yo, I'm outside. Can you get me in? I'd come right out and, oh yeah, they're okay. Now it's like, you have to go through a fucking sorry, can I curse?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, now it's like a whole process. But yeah, I did that for a bunch of time. And before that, I actually started promoting in New York City in 1992.
Wow.
So the party NASA, which was featured in the movie Kids, I was one of the kids that used to hand out flyers. So
Nice.
My promoter number was 22. So every time there was a flyer that came in with my number, I'd get $2.
Perfect. But in the 90s, that was like $100 now.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But amazing. So yeah, I guess you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Been DJing for a long time. What got you into DJing in your earlier years?
So my cousins were club DJs. So I grew up in Houston, Texas. So they were club DJs at alternative parties like New Wave and Industrial.
Nice.
So basically my mom used to drop me off at my aunt's house for them to kind of babysit me. I was I think at that point in time I was 10 or 11 or something like that. So they were upstairs DJing. So the first day they dropped me off, I was in the backyard destroying everything. And the second week, my mom was your kid's got to watch my son. So they decided to bring me upstairs and teach me how to DJ. So
So did that came first, and the DJing came before promoting?
Yes. So I still remember the first two records I mixed together. It was the Shep Pettibone remix of Bizarre Love Triangle.
Oh, nice.
And the American Soviets by CP on Oaklawn Records from Dallas.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very memorable moment for a lot of DJs, their first time that they match a blend. And I think especially when you're blending on vinyl or, before the technology was there, it's like an aha moment.
Right.
Or at least it was for me, you know?
Yeah, well, for me, it was one of those things, why don't you try? And then, I don't know, I did whatever I did, and it just so happened to be mixed together. And they're
You're this is easy.
And
I got this.
And they were like, well, we haven't taught you anything yet. How did how did that happen?
Nice.
I was well, I don't know. But yeah, no, so a lot of, I kind of honed my early skills, just kind of playing with my cousins, and then because they were club DJs, eventually when I got older, they would bring me along to the clubs. And then
when you were 13, 14,
13, yeah.
Crazy.
So
Houston
literally in Houston, yeah, literally if one of my cousins, his name is John Jopio, so so if he had to leave the booth for a little bit, he'd literally tell me, hey, could you take over for a couple of songs, whatever.
Nice.
So, you know.
I feel like a lot of
Nothing's-
DJs got their start in that way. Like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, take over for a couple songs, and
Yeah.
you know.
Jump in a bit. Nothing's scarier than that first time you go up and just
Well, I
like
mean, when you're that
touching
young,
that fader and it comes in all hot. And you're like, damn it.
when you're that young, you don't know any better.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, great, 300, 400 people, whatever. I'm just like,
Yeah. You almost don't think about it as
you
much.
don't really
for sure.
think about it. Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
I would love to dive in, you know, more into the later years, but I'd love to hear about one of the songs you plan on playing for the mix, and you know, kind of why you picked that song.
Well, so, you know, obviously, like everybody, I'm a big Daft Punk fan. So, like, there's this remix I got from Your Army back in like 2014. I think it was by Volak. And for the longest time, like, I would play it at my parties, and like, everybody's like, where the hell did you get that remix from?
That's the best feeling.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, like, I love that remix. It's like, it's kind of a staple. When I was a resident at Webster, I used to play it all the time. So, like, yeah.
Fire.
Nice.
So coming into New York, did you move when you were younger, or was it?
I went here for college.
Went here for college.
Yeah.
Was it a big adjustment from Houston?
Yes. I mean, like, like having nightlife, well, obviously nightlife is comparable. It's not comparable to
Facts.
Houston,
Yeah.
Texas. Like having nightlife in New York City being like literally 24/7, especially in the early 90s. Like I went to the first like Storm rave, like Frankie Bones and like Adam X and all those guys. Like, it's like basically the beginning of the rave scene in New York City. So like, it was very like overwhelming. Like, I didn't know how to navigate like the DJ politics, because it was completely different from
It's
like,
a big part of it for
yeah.
sure.
I can imagine it was way different back then.
yeah.
So did you kind of get your way in? Because I know a lot of, you know, DJs who moved to the city at first. Did you get your way in at first through promoting in the city when you first moved here, or?
Yeah, I mean, like, so, like I said, I was promoting for NASA, and then, I became closer to Adam X down the line, and like, he would have smaller gigs, and he would literally throw me right into the fire. It just like,
Sometimes the best way, though.
Yeah.
yeah, there was this one night we were at Limelight. He was like, I'm DJing Limelight. You want to come along? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then he was like, you want to hop on for a few? And then like, it's packed crowd, and like I'm using his records. It's like, so it's like, and then he just left me alone for like, I think it seemed like an eternity, to be honest.
Yeah,
right.
I feel like especially playing off somebody else's records,
Yeah.
not knowing where things are and all of that is
Right.
like, where did you feel like you killed it, or what was the feeling?
Well, he told me I killed it. So
I mean, that's it. That's what matters.
Yeah. That was a pretty big club too.
yeah.
Rest in peace. When I moved to New York, it was the Avalon.
Right.
And now it's a Limelight again, but it's got like
It's a
tchotchke stores
food court
inside.
now.
A food court, right? That's what it is. You actually have also gotten into some remixing and releasing original music. You said a long time ago you
Yeah.
released some stuff, but you've done some production on the side also.
Right. So basically around 2008, I want to say 2008, 2009, I was working with this guy called Dan Physics. So we were producing music together under the name Disco Dali, DISKO DALI.
Oh, nice.
We did a remix for Dragonette that kind of blew up. We did something for the Sounds. We also did a Daft Punk. It was a bootleg, but still like. And from there, really like, like we ended up opening for like Mastercraft and Bloody Beetroots, like
Fire.
like
Amazing.
that kind of stuff back then. So, it was a short-lived thing, mostly because I got busy being a talent buyer at
Yeah.
Webster Hall, and it like took over my life basically.
You were doing full-on talent buying, not just your party there.
Yeah, I was doing. I was talent buying for Girls and Boys on Fridays. I was Saturdays at Bright Nights, and also later on Gotham Basement Saturdays downstairs at Webster Hall. Fridays and Saturdays at Slake. So like,
I remember
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
yeah,
It's like-
which used to be Rebel. So
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
before that, it was Downtime. Yeah.
Do you think that was something that you always wanted to do, was be a talent buy? Do you think that's like, because when I think about it, like from a DJ perspective, ultimately like you're curating, and kind of as a talent buy, you're also curating the night in a different way, you know?
Well, I mean, when I started Girls and Boys back in 2002 at Filter 14, like it just kind of defaulted that I was the guy that knew everybody. So like,
you do know everybody in the city. Everyone's like, Alex!
A legend, man, the legend.
So I kind of like, I ended up having the job of like booking everybody, like, you know, whether it was like Nick Zinner from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs or like Tim Burgess from Charlatans UK or whatever, because Girls and Boys started off as an indie rock party.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the EDM party that it became later on at Webster Hall.
I got to play the first revisited indie rock party, which was an interesting night to say the least. But otherwise, Girls and Boys was such a legendary party.
Thank you.
When I was here, you know, it was always the place to go. I mean, you guys had some incredible, huge acts there. Who would you say are some of your top 3 favorite acts that you guys hosted there? Because you had some huge names throughout the years.
I mean, obviously, we got Skrillex really early, I think 2010.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, and because of that relationship, he came back many times. Sometimes he'd just show up and like ask me, like, "Hey, can I DJ at the end of the night?" And I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah, how do you say that?
Like,
it's like Prince strolling up to First Ave.
Right.
He just strolls up with his guitar. They're like, "Go ahead."
You know, so that's one. I think not at Webster, but I used to do a party at Hero Ballroom called Cheeky Bastard.
Oh yeah, I remember that place.
And that was around 2006 to 2008, and we had Martin Gore from Depeche Mode DJ there.
Fire.
And you know, and Depeche Mode is one of my biggest influences musically. So he was, you know, especially, you know, like it was a special moment for me. But as far as DJ skills, the dude that blew me away, that like I was just like, you know what, I should just fucking quit right now, was when we had DJ EZ play at Webster Hall.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What made that so special?
I mean, skill-wise, the guy is unmatched. I mean, like he would literally like cue up a song, like figure out what the tone is at the very beginning, right? And like disengage master pitch and then bring it down to the tone and match the tone to the song that's playing before.
That's next level.
And then he'd hit cue, dun, 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 in beat to the other song in the same key.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I mean, that became such a thing too, like the tone play stuff. You know, a lot of DJs now specifically are doing that, and and now it's easier because there's software ability to be able to match those things. But to do it back then was nuts.
Yeah, that's some real internal. You know, what is it? Key. You know, perfect timing, perfect pitch.
Perfect pitch. Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
I would love to dive into a little bit more about what you're working on now, but do you want to give us another one of the songs you picked for your mix?
So again, the Daft Punk theme.
I love it. Let's keep it rocking.
Yeah, who doesn't like them?
Pedro Winter back in 2007 put me on the guest list to see Daft Punk at baseball stadium in Brooklyn, and like that show blew me away. The songs they played, like for the longest time, like, you know, afterwards they released Alive, which is a live version with all the fans screaming. So for the longest time I was hunting down like any of the tunes that was played during the tour, but coming from the board without the screaming. So I could play it in my sets. And I found that version of Harder, Faster, Better, and Around the World.
That's crazy. Yeah. How'd you find them?
Let's just say it was given to me.
Just took one email, but you know what? It took a long time to think about finding that email. To say That's funny. I remember when that went out. My friend's like, "Yo, I got the version without the crowd." We're like, "Yes, gonna play them all." I never played them actually. I just always stuck with the originals, but that's me.
Right.
That's a great version though. The whole show was just incredible.
Yeah.
Legendary. From the Kings.
The Kings.
Yeah.
So what you're working on now, and I kind of see a natural progression. I think the common theme for me, and I look at it from a DJ perspective because I've been, doing it for a while, is it's kind of like a constant thing of curation. And now, you're working with quarters and you're doing more artist management. Do you feel like that was like a natural progression of like DJ to like talent buy to then management?
Well, honestly, the first person that I managed was this girl called Callie Reef. That she's on Dimmock right now.
Nice.
I no longer manage her, but at the same time, like, she was the first artist that I thought like, hey, maybe I should get into this arena. And there was a lot of, obviously I came in very green, like, I didn't, know what I know now. But like, once I did get into it, I found that I enjoyed it. Like after being a talent buyer and DJ at Webster Hall for so long, like, I hate to say it, but it got kind of like normal for me.
I feel that.
And so it was another challenge that kind of like got me up in the morning where like, okay, what do we do now? Like, and then now like with the artists that I manage, it's like I get that rush, like I get that like, I'm excited to like, when my artists like send me new songs and like, that nobody's heard before, like, it's just like I feel privileged to hear them, and then because of my DJ background, like like I'm thinking like, oh my God, I can go into this and go into that, like
you still keep that mindset. I love that.
Right, like it just like it's a different world, but at the same time, it didn't feel unnatural to me. So
everything you learned up to that point kind of helped to make you better at that.
Right,
almost.
Right. I mean, all the talent buying, like introduced me to a lot of people in the industry. Even Callie at the very beginning, like she would ask me like, do you know so and so, and I wouldn't remember, so I just literally searched in my email. Oh yeah, I do know that person. Like literally, like.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, it definitely seemed like a natural progression for you to get into that after having, so much experience putting on the events and DJing yourself.
Right.
That's amazing. So let's say, I mean, I have a lot of friends that are, DJs that are gigging around a lot, but like don't have managers or agents or anything like that. As somebody who's been in the game for a long time, putting on events and now managing people, any advice you would give to somebody out there who's like starting to put out tracks and looking to ramp things up a little bit? I mean,
well, first off, I would say like do your thing. Like don't ever chase a genre.
Yeah.
Because if you're putting out music or DJing music that you think you should be playing, most likely down the line you'll be doing that same thing and hating what you're doing.
Yeah, that's good advice.
That's the first thing that I'm going to say. So it's like, second, as far as representation, like, I almost feel that like it's a kismet kind of situation where like you'll know when you meet that person.
Yeah.
It's like it's not like something that it's not something you apply for a job, like you like, hey, I want you to be.
Yeah, you can't just blind reach out, like, look at my stats, here's my numbers.
Right,
It's
like
gotta be a real connection.
there's got to be some kind of like connection and synergy between the manager and the artist.
100%.
And the thing is, without that, like it's really hard to like move forward. I mean, like, and sometimes it could be like you might not necessarily click with a manager that has all the connections and all the skills. But you might click with a manager that might be brand new. But the thing is, it's like the crux of that relationship is between the manager and the artist. And then if you're going after somebody because of their Rolodex, for younger people, that's your contacts.
I didn't even think about that. But of course, Rolodex.
Right. Like if you're going after somebody because of their contacts, it's like, likely you don't respect the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need to have like a real, like true, like friendship relationship with this person that's like definitely symbiotic around the music and the vision and everything. But it's got to be like a real personal connection.
Right.
You can't just blind email somebody. I'm looking for a manager.
Right.
I've seen it go both ways too, and I've seen people who have linked up with managers, whether it be through blind reach out or getting put with them through a different agency where it's been a disaster because they didn't understand the project or believe in the project as much.
Yeah.
I've also seen a lot of younger managers come and be able to move mountains because they just believed in the product so much. So that's honestly something that I've never really thought about, you know, is surprisingly for how long I've been in music as well. But I think that personal connection and connection with music is if ultimately you want somebody who's going to believe in what you're doing.
I mean, I'll break it down as a DJ. If you like, you both DJ. So like, let's say you get a promo that nobody's heard before, or very few people have, okay? You believe in that track, so you play it all the time.
Yeah.
All right? So that's something I take away from my DJing history.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a reason why you play that track over and over again. So the thing is like, if that connection isn't there as a manager, like then it's not really, it feels like, it doesn't feel authentic.
Yeah, I agree. That makes total sense.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, we're about to get you in the studio for a mix. We're going to go ahead and have that link linked next to this video, so you guys should check this out. Also, I want to remind everybody, we're here at 28 Broadway here at the Sound Collective at this beautiful facility. You guys can come in here with membership and use any of the equipment anytime you want. We have private lessons. We have a certificate program. We just want to thank Sound Collective for letting us film this amazing podcast here. And thank Alex for coming out to join us.
Thank you.
For anybody who doesn't know you, do you want to share your socials so people can find you online?
Yeah, just Alex English GNB on Instagram, and then there's a link to everything else.
Don't send him any trash.
All right, thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
Much love.